Betrayal is something core to the Rocks Pirates members later in life. We move 42 years ago at Foot Colony, the Temple of International Philanthropy Federation, who are getting raided by some evil, bad pirates. Who would try to rob a charity, bro? Like, they're helping people all around the world. Why would anyone... Oh my god, it's the evil Rocks Pirates. I knew it. It's always those evil Rocks Pirates, man. Somebody call the Marines. Someone hit up the Gorosei, because these people need to be stopped. Why are you going after a charity? Okay, government propaganda aside, the Rocks Pirates, as we have found out, only attack and take from the corrupt world government. It's the same case right now, as Big Mom tells us that the money donated was actually being stolen by these goofy ass monks. The temple can't have them be exposed like that, so they are ready to bar the pirates in until the army shows up to take care of them. In this process, we get to witness the dynamics of the Rocks Pirates. It's every man for themselves. Heck, Shiki forgets about Whitebeard and Kaido under the tunnel as a whole ass bomb gets dropped on him. The Golden Lion is happy that if they die, he will get a bigger cut. Bro, that's your nakama. What is Smoke doing? However, this is the strongest man in the world and the strongest creature. They aren't dying from basic cannonballs. Whitebeard literally starts causing an earthquake which begins to sink the island and everyone in it. Kaido, witnessing this devil fruit power, is envious that he can't do that. However, like a big bro, Newgate warns that he better choose wisely or he will be stuck with a lame power. It seems that Kyo, the Silver Axe, was also underground and he is livid at Shiki, who is trying to fly off, so no one blames him. I guess this is how their rivalry started, because remember, after the Rocks Pirates disbanded, Silver Axe was the Golden Lion's biggest op. Shiki, with his goofy ass grin over here, acting like, oh, Kyo-san, I'm so happy you survived. I've been so worried sick over you. While the crew makes all this ruckus and are almost at each other's throats, Rocks comes up and puts his foot down, showcasing why he is the group leader, the alpha. He reprimands the lot and makes sure the treasure is theirs, while Captain John informs that the Marines are already at the shore. Rocks and the crew might be eager for another fight against the Navy, but due to their infighting and their objective completed, it's not time for it. However, the Marines showing up so quick is very interesting here, as Whitebeard himself questions whether someone leaked their plans. Betrayal is something core to the Rocks Pirates members later in life. First, you have Lin, who is so scared of betrayals that she pumped out 50 plus kids to not face it. Then Whitebeard's own family members like Teach or Squad betrayed him. Even Big Mom told Kaido, her little bro, to not trust Rocks and the crew too much. So there being a marine rat inside Rocks' crew is very plausible, especially since we know the world government is very good at this. Just look at Rocinante with Doffy, X-Drake and the Toby Ropo, or CP9 inside of Galila Company at Water 7 for like 6 years. It's been over a decade of Rocks going on his crusade against Emu and nearly 3 years since they took over Full Elite, becoming the Rocks Pirates. That's plenty of time for a spy to be embedded inside the crew. Either way, the Marines have already opened fire. There is no time to prepare to sail away. So Rocks commands his crew to plunder everything and sink the Navy. As we watch Rocks D. Xebec tear through these huge marine battleships with his Conqueror's hockey-coated sword strikes. Here we learn of his crimes. In just 2 years, Rocks Pirates have conducted 16 documented raids, 14 ports have been destroyed, 5 towns wiped off the map, and 1 nation brought to ruin. These stats might sound awful, but one could say that Luffy destroyed Dressrosa. However, in reality, he liberated the people from Doflamingo's rule. It was Doffy's birdcage that did the most damage in the first place. Rocks wiping off towns is likely a similar case. Furthermore, they also sunk 76 Navy battleships. We know how big that number really is, as the siege on Egghead cost Akainu like 100 battleships and 30,000 Marines. This was a huge proportion of the Navy's forces in the future, which showcases showcases to us that Rox was doing some serious damage to the world government. His crew only gets stronger with each passing feat since their infamy grows, attracting even more criminals to join their cause like Kyo the Silver Axe last chapter. The Rox pirates were so OP that even with Roger sailing the seas at the same time, this era was known as his time. So over 38 years ago, Rox, the strongest pirate, alongside his men, ruled the seas. These guys were so busted that almost all the members would be known as Yonkos or top tier pirates of the New World after Rox's death. In fact, the Pirate King Roger's own crew had to team up not just with the strongest marine Garp, but also the strongest soldier of Imu and Shanks' father Garling to defeat these monsters. And now Rox's son Marshall D. Teach is continuing on his legacy. So let me tell you guys the entire story of this legendary crew. First, let's take a look at why they were even founded, because before becoming captain of the Rox Pirates, Xebec was already an absolute menace, as his first appearance happens when he attended the Reverie 56 years ago. Basically, an exclusive roundtable of only 50 nations that make up the world government, where they discuss current events and future plans. But Rox had his own plans of taking 5 of the 50 kings as hostage. With the Reverie being at the Holy Land and Rox running wild, an admiral was summoned to face him. So what did he do? He killed the Navy admiral like it was nothing. The kidnapping of kings was simply a distraction which Rox had planned for, because his true goal was to reach the flower room where the biggest secret of the Celestials laid. Imu-sama himself, the king that sits atop the empty throne of the world. In chapter 957, Sengoku stated that Xebec wanted to be the king of the world and he broke way too many taboos. Being a D, it wouldn't be far-fetched to say that Xebec had uncovered a lot about the world, realizing that the Reverie was a sham. Everything was rigged and the devil's corruption was behind it all. Reaching the flower room of Imu was his way of confirming what he knew about the world. Rox wasn't a dummy. He knew that usurping Imu and the Gorosei wasn't a one-man job. As strong as he is, fighting against 800-year-old devil, the Holy Knights like Garling, who himself likely scaled to Yonko level, was a little too much for even Rox. So he assembled the best of the best, creating the strongest pirate crew in history. And how did he do this in less than a decade? Well, with the Davy Back fight, which is the biggest hint towards who Rox actually is, as during his conversation with Imu in chapter 1154, Rox isn't introduced by name, rather calling himself a fan of Davy Jones, or a Davy Jonesian pirate. According to the legends, Davy Jones was a pirate from long ago who is said to have been cursed by a demon to live on the sea floor, possibly Imu considering he is the literal devil. This is why the sea floor is called Davy Jones' locker. He has become a worshipped figure within the pirate world, and his namesake is the origin behind the Davy Back fight. Maybe that's another reason Rox hates Imu. He was the one to seal Davy Jones away. Perhaps he became way too strong and Imu had to personally act. And now Rox D. Xebec wants to continue Davy Jones's will by killing Imu and taking over the world as a pirate. Well, if you guys want to know more about Imu and his personality, then watch this banger video on screen right now.